Welcome back to Cresta vs Summit Midwest Drags 2023, proudly supported by Valvoline, Golby's Parts, GFB and Raceworks. We're back at Virginia Motorsports Park. It is the last day, being a day 4 event. Unfortunately, we have had some rain overnight. However, the track staff are already busily preparing and cleaning the surface. It is going to be a little bit of a late start today because it's already 10 to 10 and we were supposed to be running at 10 o'clock. However, the track surface is already looking really good. It's looking really dry and hopefully this stuff stays away. But we're going to turn the car around. We're actually going to put some new plugs in it today and hopefully make some passes and see how the day progresses. Let's get on to it.
I can put a pass in it and it'll probably run like an 8.56.
Yeah.
Or I can put a pass in it and try and run an 8.50, but it might run an 8.49.
8.56 all day.
Alright. I'm telling you now, I've left it tuned exactly the same. No more boost, no nothing. And all I've done in the torque management...
Oh, no more boost now?
No.
Okay, cool.
I leave it because that is an 8.58. Alright? If you wanted to run an 8.50, I'd add the 2 pounds. So all I'm doing, torque management after 6.5, instead of it pulling 7 degrees, it's only going to pull 5. And if it goes faster, I know it wanted the 2.
862 and 157.
Show us the slip.
Good job, Matty. 857, 157. That'll do, sir. It's still spun in the 60.
I know, but it grabbed it a little bit, so it's only 131.
I just held the thing flat. I'm happy with that. Are you not happy?
I always want more.
I know, you're a greedy bugger.
Nah, good work.
Job, bro. Another drag and drive in the bag. Another one finished. It's a pretty good result. It's pretty awesome to say we've never actually not finished one yet. So we'll keep on the lucky streak going. And we'll go and hand this in and the other one, and that may just creep us in to an 8.5 average. I think
it'll be close.
I think it'll be close.
6.1 and the 5.7 brought it down.
Yeah, I think we'll get it. So fingers crossed for an 8.5 something average, which will be our best drag and drive result in the US ever.
If not, one more.
No.
It's too hot.
Well, it's been a pretty challenging day temperature-wise. The conditions have been obviously less than ideal for racing. However, we have run two pretty good times, which we're all really happy with. An 8.61 and an 8.57. We were watching guys that are normally running at consistent 8.50s, 8.51s, and those guys are nearly a full tenth slower today. So we did do 5 passes today, so a lot of... And the audio just died. So basically at this point, just really discussing the track conditions. It's literally over 40 degrees ambient temp. So typically you're going to see the track surface well above 50 degrees. We were really struggling with grip on the track as well as just physical air temperature. We were seeing sort of nearly 100 degree air temps by the end of the run, which obviously is not ideal. Keeping in mind also, we fitted the nitrous system before this event. The nitrous express system has allowed us to actually get up on the trans brake much quicker. If we hadn't have done that, we would have really struggled, particularly on this day. The hardest thing for us obviously as well now is that obviously we've got basically all the drag and drive events have adopted this 1 second bump in rule, where once obviously you get a green light, you've only got 1 second to leave the line. Any time after that is added to your elapsed time or your ET. So a lot of guys were really struggling with that as well, and running effectively a 10-second pass, but then having to add sometimes 2 or 3 seconds onto that pass, so ending up with a 13 or a 14-second time slip on an aggregate. So yeah, we were really mindful of not sort of having that same issues we had at Sick Week, and yeah, putting that nitrous express system on the car definitely made a big difference. We actually ended up using the nitrous express system in as well as on the trans brake. Matty set up a really good strategy where I think it was over 2,500 RPM, 80% throttle. If we were less than a targeted boost pressure, it would add nitrous until it got to that targeted boost pressure. And you can actually watch the nitrous system while on the trans brake come in and out, just trying to maintain that boost while it's coming up. Obviously, once it's up, we're not using it. However, once I let go of the trans brake button, we also had a nitrous table set up off of our race timer. So for the first second of the race time, we're also using nitrous. We did notice that the converter, being so tight now, it actually pulls the engine down a little bit. Arguably it is too tight, but the nitrous has fixed that issue. And when we get the car home, when we can run this thing at max effort, that tighter converter is definitely going to help us on the back end. I would estimate we're going to pick up probably 0.2 on the same tune we were already running. So mathematically on an 8.1 tune, that's a 790 tune with no other thing. So even if we don't run nitrous through the whole pass, if we literally only use it for that first second of the pass, if we can run the 60 foots we used to run here, just having that tighter converter, making it more efficient, if we can get down to say 2 to 3% converter slip, which again, arguably is too tight depending on exactly what type of racing you want to do. But for max effort and the most efficiency possible, when we're really trying to push an existing combo rather than go and spend another $5,000 on another turbo, I think that's definitely going to get the magic 7 eventually. Whether or not that's going to happen in the USA, I'm not sure. Obviously, the next event we've got coming up is Rocky Mountain Race Week. We are locked in for that. The home track is Pueblo, which is quite a long way above sea level, so thin air. Nitrous is definitely going to come into play a lot with Rocky Mountain Race Week as well. So yeah, having the nitrous express system on board for that event as well is definitely going to make that whole event much more manageable. Every event now we're building on what the car was. We've now got 2 events on that converter, so we've got a lot of good data. Matty is a perfectionist when it comes to data. He's the mad scientist of all these numbers, and a lot of it is above my head, but he's really good at it, and he's been making the thing just go consistently faster and faster and faster, and we're really trying to push for an 8.5 average at Rocky Mountain Race Week. So yeah, fingers crossed we can do that. And maybe on the last day we'll wick it up because we really, at this point, we've got nothing to lose. Rocky Mountain Race Week 2.0, actually I should say it is 2.0, not Rocky Mountain Race Week, because that event's actually already been. However, that event 2.0 is going to be our last event for racing the car. We're still working with a couple of companies to try and get the car to SEMA. However, that's not locked in yet. But fingers crossed. The car will be in Vegas anyway, because I'm actually going to SEMA regardless if the car is entered or not. So after Race Week 2.0, we are going to store the car in Vegas, and then after SEMA, I'm going to take it to LA and ship it home. Normally we actually ship the car from the East Coast, so I'm really hoping that by shipping it from the West Coast, we definitely get the car home quicker, because the shipping time from the US to Australia from the West Coast is much quicker than from the East Coast, because we're literally going across the Pacific instead of going down the East Coast and through the Panama Canal. So we basically halved the shipping time. This has been heaps of chat. Let's keep watching. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
What's our average?
8.601. Is that what you're going for?
Even with those two now, because that's what I want.
Yeah, that's all for.
So it didn't change.
Damn, we suck.
It literally didn't change. Well, that brings us to the end of this adventure. It's been a fantastic trip again. We've got another really good result. 7 Dragon drives in a row. We've finished all of them, and we've actually placed in the top 3 in every category that we've ever run in. So it's a pretty awesome achievement to be able to say something like that. The Crest has been fantastic. There's a ton of people that I need to thank, but first I'm going to go through some quick facts about just some consumptions of the week. So I'm going to kick it off with 76 Gatorades were drunk this week. The car consumed 415 litres of E85. We drove on E85 everywhere, the racetrack, the street, the whole deal. So mostly on VP fuel. However, we did find a couple of servos around that did sell the just street pump E85, but we have noticed that the ethanol content is much lower here compared to Australia, so we definitely didn't want to be racing on that. But it was much easier to swap between the Bowser E85 and Drum E85. We used 13 litres of Valvoline VR1, we used 12 NGK spark plugs, and we used 6 ARP flex plate bolts. Firstly, massive thank you to both Dad and Maddie. I couldn't do this without the support of these guys. Like, literally, to have these guys on your team, we couldn't ask for anything more. Thanks to my wife Amy for holding it down at home, running BCW while I'm here, selling merch, sending it out to everyone so that you're not disappointed and waiting 3 weeks for me to get home. Also, thank you to all of our fantastic partners, Valvoline, Golby's Parts, Raceworks, Go Fast Bits, Empire Mechanical and Racing, Empire Elite Performance Parts, Nitrous Express, Haltech, Circle D Converters, Hypertune, Permatex, and Hughes Performance Transmissions. Without all of those guys, we literally wouldn't be here. All of the products are tried and tested, and we put them through some of the toughest conditions you're ever going to find. So I highly recommend any and all of those products if you're looking to build a car. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.